are referencing, if you weren't part of this last week and you're like stage 1, stage 2, stage 4, what? It might be a little bit confusing. I don't really think so, because we're just going to kind of be focusing mainly on stage 4, because that ideally is where most of these tribes or teams want to be. But if it is confusing, I can definitely send you some notes on what the stages are so you can better kind of get a grasp of what they mean. And so let me pull up my notes from today so I can see it. So today we are going to be starting on how to become an effective tribal leader. And so that's a little bit more involved. So we're going to start with some of the basics and some of the bullet points of how to become an effective tribal leader. All right. So an effective tribal leader can identify the stages of a tribe or tribes. Okay, they can identify where specific people are. So because we don't have an organization of thousands of people, right? We're not like Apple or Google where we work with, 500 people hands-on. You might be more adept to understanding the stages that specific people are in based on the characteristics they exhibit. So an effective tribal leader identifies the stages of a tribe or its tribal members. They can also identify the language of the tribe. So what words are you hearing a lot? If you are part of Thrive Army, you know that we have a specific set of words. We call each other, 4K legend, 12K legend, right? We have our own language. We say RCM. Now other teams start to use that language, but we have a specific language that a lot of the times other people, when they're like, wait, what? How is that? What? They don't understand. It's because you have a specific language within that tribe. If you are a tribal leader, you can begin to see who is speaking that language and who is not. Okay. So most of the time when we have new people come in, right, and we're saying, oh, how many RCMs did you do? How many follow-ups did you do? How many this, how many that? They're like, huh? And that's natural, not because they're not a tribal member yet, but because they have yet to acclimate to the language. However, there are some people who have been a part of the tribe that don't speak that language yet. And that is because they are not fully bought into the tribe, and they are not stage 4, or they are not in the same stage as the tribe as a whole, right? Because they haven't bought into that we mentality. So how can you tell, when going back to the first one, how do you identify the stages of a tribe or the stages of an individual? Some people don't speak the language. Okay. And so, yeah, like when Casey joined, we call people blue, yellow, green, red. And people are like, what? So, but if you're a person who has been a part of the tribe or the team for a while, and you still don't understand the language, you have yet to adapt to the stage that tribe is in. Okay. And leaders need to identify that, who is speaking the language and who isn't. Okay. So that kind of maybe move into number 3. So for note takers, that was also kind of pseudo point number 3, which is understand who is speaking the language and who isn't. People who are not speaking the language have not bought into the tribe mentality, do not share the core values or anything like that. Okay. So it's important to understand that, because those are rogue members. Those are people doing their own thing who feel like they can get where they need to be without the tribe. Okay. Also, elevate yourself to a stage 4 tribe member. Okay, we're talking about tribal leaders. So elevate yourself to stage 4. And for those of you guys who weren't part of this last week, you're going to be like, well, what is stage 4? For the sake of time, I'm not necessarily going to get into that right now. You can definitely get the notes. I can send those to you in the chats. All right. So a lot of this is when you're elevating yourself to a stage 4 tribe member, you are shifting the structure of the relationships around you and the language you use. You are beginning to, if you are part of a tribe that is not where you want to be, right? They're kind of almost holding you back. You need to stop using that language. If they're using negatively framed language, you stop using it. You find a new language. You start using a new one. If you want to integrate with the tribal members who are really making some boss moves, mimic their language. What do they say? What do they do? How do they speak? And you also structure the relationships around you. They always say that you are the company you keep. There's also a big saying when it comes to success anything, entrepreneurship, whatever, is that you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with most. Okay. So if you have one friend or one person that's constantly around you and they're successful or positive, but almost everybody else is negative, it doesn't matter how positive that one person is. You're going to be the average of the 5 people you hang around most. Okay. So change and shift the structure of the relationships around you and change your language to elevate yourself to a stage 4 person. That because you can't be a tribal leader of a stage 4 group if you yourself haven't elevated to that point yet. Start elevating the tribe around you, recognizing yourself as a tribal leader by these characteristics listed above, and begin to develop other tribal leaders, because remember, there is always a tribal leader. There's never like one singular leader. Okay, there's never like, you never go up and up and up until it's just the pinnacle and that's like the ultimate. Everyone can be in their own regard. Yes, sure. Everyone in their own regard can be a tribal leader. Okay. So there can be multiple leaders, but in a stage, remember, in a stage 4 and a stage 5 tribe, remember, one of the keystones is that they're not competitive with each other. So there can be multiple leaders because they value collaboration over competition. It's a healthy balance of ego and humility that allows these leaders to coexist for the sake of the tribe. Okay. So in here, they also gave a tip that says most tribes can upgrade a full level, a full stage in an average of 90 days. Okay. In an average of 90 days. Now, 30 days, probably too soon. So if you're expecting change like this, slow it down. If you've been working on this supposed change for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, a year, time to change things up. Okay. And if things aren't working, you need to make more drastic changes. So if you've been trying to cultivate the culture of your team and nothing has really shifted and nothing has really come of it after 90 days, you need to reevaluate what you're doing. Okay. So now we're going to get into core values. Core values is what separates successful tribes from non-successful tribes. And we're going to talk about why. So first, a tribal leader needs to identify shared values among the tribal members. Okay. Identify, leverage, and align with these core values. And in here, they call it a noble cause, but it's essentially a mission, like a mission statement. Okay. The core values is like the vision. The noble cause is the mission. Okay. So most people need to identify with them. It doesn't mean that every single person needs to identify closely with every single core value, but they do have shared values among them. Okay, kind of like making a Venn diagram. They need to have a lot of shared ones, right? A lot of the ones in the middle. There might be some outliers here and there, but that's okay. They need to have some shared values though. They also admire others' value and how it adds to the core tribal quality. Okay, they are able to identify the qualities and the value that each tribal member brings as something that enhances the overall quality of the tribe. Okay. They also add people to the tribe based on these values more than skills. Successful companies, Fortune 500 companies, hire more so based on similar values than their skill set. Because that is the one factor that separates highly functioning and effective companies over those that are not, is their culture. And culture is driven by how many people buy into these shared values. Okay, so they add people based on these shared values more than their skill set. This may change a lot of the way you recruit people. Okay, if you are just recruiting anybody and everybody who's a warm body and breathes and says, I want to do this, your culture will be crap. If your culture is crap, your productivity will be crap and you will not grow. If you do grow, it'll be quick, but you will sink just as quickly as you grew. Okay. So you need to begin, quote unquote, hiring or partnering or aligning with people based on your tribal values more so than their skill set. Okay. I lost my place in my notes. Okay. Tribal members make a commitment to the group and cause more than the company. This is why when Thrive Army, I know we have lots of other teams on here. This is why, at least with our team, with our tribe, when people ask about the opportunity, we do not necessarily send them the Lavelle link right away. What do we send them? Our opportunity link, our team video. Because, again, because of this, tribe members or potential tribe members make a commitment to the group, to the tribe and the cause more than they do the company. Okay. In war, soldiers buy into the camaraderie of their brothers and sisters more than they do the war itself. Why do people go into battle and jump on grenades? And it's not because they loved the Civil War, because they loved World War II, because they loved the Vietnam War. They did it for their brother and their sister and the camaraderie that they developed, the tribe. Okay. And so that is why it's important, one, that you are recruiting people that align with your values, right? And that two, you understand that people are making, and potential tribe members are making a commitment to the team and the tribe and the values that the tribe has more than anything else. Okay. Because ultimately, who are they going to be working with every day? You. Which chats are they going to be in? Your team chats. They're going to be doing that more than they ever engage with Lavelle. Okay. So they need to make sure they are buying into your tribe's values and your noble cause, your mission. People who do not find inherent value in themselves cannot find value or shared value in the tribe. People who struggle to identify their own self-worth, their own value, what they bring to the table, will struggle to find value in the tribe. Okay. And that's a hard one for a lot of people. If you struggle with a lot of that insecurity, you will struggle to maintain functionality in the tribe. And we'll talk about why that is. Okay. And then it just says values and culture is the biggest factor in understanding the trajectory of a business's success. The better the culture, the more successful they are by far. If they have a fantastic culture that promotes unity and success and whatever those shared values are, and everybody is working relentlessly towards those shared values, they are successful. Okay. When you go look at all these successful teams in Lavelle, guaranteed their culture is fire. Okay. So now that we're talking about culture, we call it culture, they call it tribal alchemy. Okay, tribal alchemy. So once tribal leaders identify shared values among the members, they talk about everyone's values. Okay, when we talk about that Venn diagram, when I say they talk about everyone's values, it means they talk about that middle part. They talk about the shared values of the group rather than going around and having everyone express what their personal values are. Okay, because again, it's promoting we over I. And so they kind of liken it to, it's like turning lead to gold when a tribal leader can speak about the tribe as a whole, and the tribal members, okay, the tribal members automatically identify themselves as the tribe, as part of the tribe. So rather than, me talking about Tracy or me talking about Krista or me talking about Casey or whatever, I can just talk about the tribe and everyone identifies themselves through that. Everybody finds part of that in their identity. They don't need to be isolated as Tracy, as Casey, as Mikkel. Okay. because again, they derive a lot of their identity from the tribe as a whole. Okay. And so when people begin to talk about the tribe as a whole and other people are like chiming in, it's because they find identity in that. They are part of that tribe. When we're talking about the tribe and other people don't chime in or don't talk or don't identify, you can tell who identifies with them. So that's what it says. A common identity begins to form and people dedicate themselves to the tribe and the mission. Krista and Tracy, you guys are going to be forbidden from texting. Okay. I see your faces and I know that's exactly what you're doing. Calling you out in the front of the class. All right. Now we'll talk about what goes into tribal alchemy. Okay. So behavior and culture reinforce one another. How people behave in the tribe reinforces the culture. So I'm going to make something clear because sometimes people get this confused. Just because you agree on what you want the culture to be doesn't mean that's what the culture is. Because people's behavior influences the culture. So you can say, we're a culture of this and this and this and this. But if you allow behavior and you bring behavior to the tribe that does not align with that culture, guess what? That's not your culture. Your culture is whatever the behavior is. Okay. When a tribal member's behavior is out of sync with the shared values, with the culture, the tribal member either changes the behavior to align with culture or the culture forces the behavior out. Okay. It's again because the tribe, a stage 4 tribe or stage 5 tribe, is so committed to their shared values and their culture that they will not tolerate behavior that does not align with the culture. Okay. Because they know that if that behavior is allowed, that it changes the culture. If you are a culture and one of your shared values is positivity and blah 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 blah, and you have a person that just can't stop complaining and bitching about stuff, unless they change that behavior, the culture will force the behavior out. And sometimes behaviors are attached to people. So that's usually what happens. Doesn't mean that they can never come back or whatever, but it's just saying this behavior is not tolerated because it is not aligned with the culture and the culture is too important. I'm also going to do a little footnote. If you are a tribal leader, if you are a ranked leader, if you are a person who is leading a team, it is your responsibility to maintain that culture. It is your responsibility to ensure that behaviors align with the culture. And sometimes that means having hard conversations. That means having conversations with people saying, hey, I know that maybe this is getting to you or you're struggling with this or whatever, but remember, you have to remind people of the shared values. And if they cannot change them, it's not tolerated. Again, we talked about this last week, that the overall culture of the team and the tribe is more important than the individual. And that's what everyone in a stage 4 group or stage 4 tribe has agreed upon. Okay. Emily, yes, I can. I think I just covered most of the things in my notes that I'm about to share, but it says doing what aligns with the tribal values. Oh, doing what aligns with the tribal values over what is easy shapes and defines a stage 4 tribe. Okay. That means no matter what, the tribe will always adhere to their common core values and their noble cause, no matter the cost.
Can you repeat that point one more time? I was writing it and I missed it.
Yeah. Doing what aligns with the tribal values over what is easy shapes and defines a stage 4 tribe. And so that just means that you, the team and the tribal members are so committed to the core values and to the noble cause, right? The mission, that it trumps any option that is easier, right? An example of this is, oh my gosh, you really need to make this promotion and do whatever. And you're like so desperate to recruit somebody. So you don't care that they don't align with the tribal values. You bring them on anyway, because it's easier, because you just want somebody. That's not it. That's not the way. Okay. Or you should be doing this, but you take the easy way out, but it doesn't align with the core values. Okay. And I'm going to do one more thing here, which is above all, tribal leaders follow the core values of the tribe, no matter the cost. When they do not, the tribe falls apart. Okay. If some of your shared values are consistency, showing up whenever, leading from the front, being in the grind, being in the whatever, and you are as a leader are not, your tribe falls apart. Okay. And so what does it look like when a tribe falls apart? It means sub tribes will begin to form. People who align with their own shared values because of what they see or do not see in you. So if you are positioning yourself as a tribal leader, okay, and you promote all of these things, and this may be why you're not a stage 14, because you're a leader and you're thinking, I'm going to tell you what our values are. I'm going to tell you that we value consistency and we value this and we value that. Guess what? The team didn't tell you that they also shared those. The team didn't, they haven't become a tribe because they haven't bought into those shared values. Also, when people don't buy into those shared values, you are the only person doing it. You are going to get burned out. You are then going to fall short in accordance of your own values. And then the team is going to look at you and go, oh, guess they can't even do what they said they would. Okay. And then the team falls apart. It's kind of this vicious cycle, right? And a lot of people will be like, that's not fair. I can't carry the team. I can't do everything. That's also the language of a stage 2 or 3. Okay. Not a stage 4. Be mindful, because you cannot force members of a tribe to merge or gel. These are called your blind spots. Okay. Be mindful of your blind spots. Do not be so blinded by your desire to create a tribe with common shared values that you cannot identify the people who do not merge or gel with your tribe. Okay. Again, another thing is, we always say, as a leader, your biggest claim to, leadership is creating other leaders. Okay. You're a good leader when you cannot show up and no one knows the difference. A lot of people think it's different. Like if you're such a great leader and then you don't show up, everyone's like, oh my God, we're lost without them. No. Okay. And again, I'll always bring everything back to the military, but like when you are in battle and the person that's highest ranking leading your unit, if they are shot and killed, they don't miss a beat. They know exactly who's next. They still do the mission. They still do what happens. Yes, they have their moment, but like they know exactly what happens because they are forming and training other leaders. So if you are taking on everything and you are not passing down any of that knowledge or anything else, then guess what happens when you are sick or God forbid something happens to you and you can't show up or you can't be there or you're just gone, right? Or you leave, whatever. Your team will fall apart. That's not great. That's not the sign of being a good leader. A good leader creates other leaders. Okay. Another thing we talked about is find a noble cause. That's a mission. If you're on Thrive Army and you don't know what our mission and vision statement is, we need to fix that. Okay. Our mission and vision is on the very first welcome link you get. Why? That's the most important thing because those are our shared common values. That is our noble cause. Okay. This helps the tribe see itself in its future state. Okay. This helps the tribe and tribal members see themselves in a future state. An example is if you're unsure of what your noble cause is, when people talk about what they do or what they want to do, you ask them in service of what? Basically, why? Why are we doing that? Okay. And that's why a lot of times you'll hear a lot of leaders and you'll hear Paul and Jason say, know what your why is. Okay. Because that is your in service of what, right? Not like, oh, so I can help lots of customers, or so I can grow, or so I can save for an in-ground pool. No, it's something bigger than that. Remember, this is a noble cause, right? So to change the world, to build a stronger economy, to alter the course of women in the workforce, to do whatever, right? Like something way, way, way bigger than yourself. Okay. And then lastly, super quick, is tribal maintenance. They call this an oil change. All right. What is tribal maintenance? It's an opportunity for people to air their grievances, ensure alignment, do regular check-ins, offer accountability and honesty among all tribal members, and deepen your relationships. Okay. This means doing a check-in of like, hey, how's every, not just, hey, how are you doing? As in like, hey, how's your volume? Right. But like check-ins as in, hey guys, especially as a tribal leader, this is important for you. Is that, hey guys, what am I doing well that I can keep doing? What am I doing wrong that I should stop doing? And what am I not doing that you want me to do more of? Okay. Everybody should kind of have that roundtable discussion. Everyone should offer honesty. Everyone should say, hey, if you offer an opportunity for someone to air their grievances, they can say, hey, I love that we're doing this, but I'm really feeling burnt out because I feel like I'm carrying most of the weight here. Or this is happening, but I really just feel like this needs to change, or else I'm just going to get too burnt out, or whatever the case might be. Tribal maintenance, right? Check in with your team. All the tribal members check in with one another. It says most tribes have these at least once a quarter to maintain healthy functioning as a stage 4 team. So about 4 times a year, at least 4 times a year, you should be having some like major heart to hearts. Okay. That's also why we do, especially with Lavelle, we do retreats at least 3 times a year. A lot of companies, again, really high functioning companies with fantastic culture, will do some kind of retreat or whatever 4 times a year, once a quarter. Okay. Because it makes people fall in love with their tribe all over again. It allows folks to shake off the grime of the day-to-day grind and freshen up their vision and their mission, right? So they operate so much smoother, right? Just like a car, it's working really, 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 really hard, and it's getting like the oil is just building up, it's becoming gunky, you're getting brake dust everywhere. You just need to, doesn't mean the car is a piece of crap. It just means that you need to kind of dust it off, clean it out. It's been working really, really hard. It needs to freshen up. Okay. So if you are constantly like pushing your team and you're pushing, and you're not being mindful that you need to take care of it and maintain the culture and the quality of the team, you are going to work it into the ground until it literally implodes. Okay. So it's not always just about checking in and saying, hey guys, what are you doing today to work your business? Hey guys, what are you doing for, no, those aren't the check-ins I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the how you doing kind of check-ins, right? How are you? What are some things I can do differently? How can I take certain things off of your plate? How can I help you show up differently? How can I help you be more present for your family? Okay. Those are the kind of things I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about, making sure that they're showing up and turning out so that, you can make a bigger check. Okay. So we'll kind of end there for right now, just because we're already at the 7:30 mark and I know people are going to hop on boot camp. So don't want to leave it abruptly, but I also don't want to be too late for Nicole's boot camp. But Emily, I know you asked for the opportunity link. I know some people are asking for the notes. If you want the notes, go in the Thrive Army chat and ask for them. And then both myself and Tracy have some. I know Krista probably has some. Casey, I see her cramping up over there, trying to write some. So we can send them to you, but let's hop off and go on to Nicole's boot camp. Bye, guys.